Hey guys, it's Brevort, and yesterday the 24w11a Snapshot of Minecraft was released, which brings in a lot of new features, so let's check them out. First of all, the Breeze has a new drop, which is the Breeze Rod. They no longer drop wind charges, and the Breeze Rod is like the Blaze Rod, except instead of crafting into blaze powder, it crafts into wind charges. So heading to the trial chambers, around the vault there are now chiseled tough brick blocks and andesite blocks to give them a little indication of where they are, so they're even more distinct now from the spawner blocks. And the frequency of trial spawners in the trial corridors are now more frequent. And I found two vaults next to each other, so let's open them up because they now have new loot. The changes to the loot were made so that you only get one unstackable item per vault. In this case, it was the enchanted book. And also there are some new things that you can get from vaults that are completely new to the game. Alright, so I just put down a bunch of vaults, and I got some of the new loot that you can get from the trial vaults now. So one of them is the heavy core. There are 2 new armor trims, and 2 new templates, as well as 3 pottery sherds. And those can actually be found from the decorated pots that you find around the structure, although they don't seem to be very common. Most of the time you just get the regular blank brick ones. But I did destroy a bunch of them, and I did get 1 scrape pottery sherd. Alright, so let's look at the sherds. This is the scrape one, which is an axe, which obviously you use to scrape the wax off of copper. There's the guster one, which is basically just a breeze. And there's a swirl one, which is called flow, and this is, I think, a wind charge. And you may or may not have noticed, but I did give myself potion effect particles. The thing with the potion effect particles is they're supposed to be more rare in this update, so they are less, obtrusive on your screen, but I don't really notice a huge difference. That said, I do usually play with mods that disable them completely in first person, or I will play with resource packs which have the particles hidden completely if I'm not playing modded. Speaking of potion effect particles, if I go ahead and drink another effect, you can see that it will now, instead of mixing the colors, it will have a different, a different effect bubble for each effect that you have. So instead of mixing it all into one color, it will now give you a little bit of everything. And speaking of things being less obtrusive, one thing that has been changed is the shader that makes the background blur when you are on the menu. It was really chunky before, and I'm not really sure what I mean by that, but it was weirdly blocky, and it looks a lot better now, and it also is better for performance. And before we move on to the next thing, if you're enjoying the video, make sure to leave a like and help support the channel. And if you ever want to see me again, make sure to subscribe. Currently, only 1.5% of you are actually subscribed, but if you want to join the community, you could go ahead and do that right now. And let's check out what the armor trims look like. First of all, we have the flow armor trim, which looks like this. I decided to wear an elytra as the chest plate spot because that's usually what you'll be doing. Especially if you're using armor trims. So this is what this one looks like, and you could see on the armor stand what it looks like with the chest plate, if you do use the chest plate. And here is the bolt armor trim with the elytra on, and here's what it looks like on the armor stand, and this is with the chest plate. And the chest plate part kind of looks like the trial vault. This one is a little bit more subtle than this one. This one has very, very, high contrast, or, the color is very strong compared to this one, which is a little bit darker. The bolt armor trim can be duplicated with copper blocks, and unless I'm misunderstanding it, the changelog said you can also use wax copper, but that doesn't seem to work. And the flow armor trim can be duplicated with breeze rods. This is the only one in the game that currently uses an item instead of a block, so I think maybe it should be changed to tough ? And here are the new banner patterns. This is the guster one, which again is just a breeze, and the flow one, which is, I think, again, a wind charge. So these ones don't have their translation string working properly, so it gives the translation key instead of the correct name, which is kind of funny. And if you don't know, these actually don't get consumed when you use them in the loom. So just like other banner patterns. So yeah, once you get one, you are pretty much set. So what is this heavy core thing that you can get from the trial vaults? Well, it's a block, for one, that takes a really long time to mine. And like beacons, there's no tool that speeds it up or anything, so you actually have to spend the whole time doing it, breaking it. I tried using the pickaxe and it didn't really make any difference. So as of right now, this has no use in its block form, but it can be crafted into the new weapon, the Mace. The Mace appears to have the same stats as a diamond sword with 7 attack damage and 1.6 attack speed. However, I found out it doesn't function exactly the same. Alright, so I want to see what enchantments this can support. So does it support mending? It doesn't. Okay, so I'm thinking it cannot be enchanted at all then. Yeah, no it can't. Sharpness? Nope. Yeah, I really doubt any of these would work either. Nope. This feels really like a bug to me or a missing feature because everything else in the game can be enchanted. Every other tool that has durability can be enchanted with mending and unbreaking, so it really feels like it's a bug to me. And just to confirm, yes, it does have durability. And it has 250 durability, so it's the same as an iron tool. So while the Mace has a 7 base damage, it actually scales critical damage a little bit differently than other weapons do. So other weapons have like kind of a set critical damage. So anytime you do a critical hit with a diamond sword, it'll do a weird amount of damage, but it's the same amount. However, if we do it with the Mace, and we do it from a high enough height, if we actually hit the mob, you actually do more damage. So I know you're curious. In creative mode, you can always put any enchantment on anything with an anvil. So let's go ahead and see if mending works as expected if we do this. It does. Okay, so I'm like 99.9% sure that this is supposed to be enchantable and just isn't. And the Mace can be repaired with breeze rods. However, this is eventually going to make the price really expensive because anvils are weird like that, so it's kind of a bad tool, in my opinion, at this point, until they make it so that they can be enchanted. And one thing I didn't realize is since the Mace actually has a 1x2 crafting recipe, you could just do it in your 2x2 crafting grid. In terms of 1.20.5 changes, we got a couple here. For one, the texture of the wolf armor when it's damaged has been redone. I think it's a little bit more clear now. And one of the problems I had with the wolf variants in the previous update was that if you spawned like a wolf in the Badlands, it would spawn a taiga wolf. Now it spawns the wooded Badlands wolf. And in jungle biome variants, it'll now spawn... Isn't that the... Oh, that is the rusty wolf. So that is the sparse jungle wolf. And in savanna biomes, in windsteppe savannas, it will now spawn... Whoa. It will now spawn the Savannah Plateau variant, which I think makes a lot more sense than spawning the taiga wolf in every biome that isn't like an actual wolf biome where they can spawn. And the data pack version is now 35, and the resource pack version is now 29. And there have been some data pack changes, so if you do data packs, look into this probably, so that way you don't have any issues with data packs in this snapshot. And a bunch of bugs are fixed in this snapshot as well. Anyways, guys, that is about it for this one. Thank you for watching, and goodbye!